Time to make up that electrical box, but I think before we do that one, let's do this easy one first, because we only got one wire coming out of there. First thing I want to do is strip this wire. Just going to take my sheetrock knife in there, carefully reach back as far as you can, leave some of the sheathing sticking out. Keep your hand out of the way. We're just scoring the sheathing on the outside. I can peel that back like that. Use this, just push it on there and use it as a little saw. Hold this because it's stretchy. Pulls off. This paper comes off. Now there's a piece of paper that's around the ground wire. Just kind of get that. You can cut that off. If it doesn't come off all the way, you can use your pliers and chop at it, whatever. Okay, so that's what you're going to have coming out of your box. A white wire, a black wire, and a ground wire, which is the copper wire. I don't need the wire sticking out this far. Maybe 6 inches or so, which is about there. Okay, just take my wire cutters, cut these off. One at a time if you want, or all 3 of them if you're a he-man. I like to just do one at a time. The reason why I don't like the wires much longer than that is then you got to push all that back into the wall. You know? This is plenty long. Take my wire strippers and strip off the outside about 1 inch or so on the black wire and the white wire. And if you want, you can measure this. See, that's 3/4. I need to go a bit further. And I like to go about 1 inch because, see, I'm going to wrap these around a screw on the side of the plug. See, now I can hold that one up like that. Strip it, hold it up against there. That's good. Let's see what that is. About 1 inch, I think. Yeah. Okay. That's what you want so far. See, I went to the store and I got the very same style of plug as before. Okay, so that's what I'm going to use here. Now, before I put that up there, these ears, I'm going to bend these ears off. There's a little mark there. I'm going to cut those off and fit that into the notch of the cut-in box. That way, it'll fit up tighter there, because most boxes are not cut-in boxes and they're flush. This box sticks out enough that for the thickness of the tab. So if I were to screw this on here, now I've got the outside of this metal sticking out that much further, and I'm liable to have the cover plate stick off the wall a little bit. There's a definite little edge there. You want to cut those, score them, and bend them off. Because this is an easy one, we only have this amount of power wires because the power is coming from the box down below and it's just coming up here and feeding this. So that's why we only got 1 set of wires up here. We've got 2 screws on the right side, 2 screws on the left side. I'm going to screw one of those in because I only need 1 of those. And so I'll get the other one in. I don't like having those stick out inside the box. I realize the box is a plastic box, but it's just a habit that I get into. See, because I'm going to use these screws, that's why I stripped this back as far as I did. Because now I'm going to put a little curly Q in the white wire and a curly Q on the black wire so I can fish them over these screws. Now there are holes in the back side, but I don't like using those because they could get loose later on down the road. So I always like to be nice and secure with the side screws. Okay, there's a hole in here in my wire strippers, those top hole and the bottom hole. I'm just going to put that in here like that. Stick the wire out maybe 3/16 or so and bend it up. And let it out like that. Okay? Something like that. Like if you think you went too far, you can kind of pull it back a little bit. Try to see if I can do this one a little better. You see there, that one's better than this one. I don't do this every day, but it'll work. Oh, I guess I got to do the ground wire too, don't I? Because there's a ground screw on there too. Stick it through the hole, 3/16 and roll it up and out. Okay. I always like to start at the ground wire. And what I want to do is the curlicue, I want the curlicue to wrap around the screw the same way as it's going to go that I'm going to tighten it. I put it down sideways like this and maybe put a little kink in it. A little kicker up like that. I can fit it underneath that screw. And then, once I get it underneath there, then I roll it into position like that. There's a little notch in there. I can pinch that down like that. Just going to hang on to this like here and tighten that screw up. There. Now I just take that and I'm going to roll it up like that. See? Now the white wire is the neutral wire. That always goes on the left side. The left side has a notch, is bigger than the right hand side. It's also got a silver screw on the left hand side. So we're going to take this, because I'm right-handed, I'm just going to slide it over like that. Put a little kicker in here, just a hair. I can slip it over the screw. Make sure these screws are unscrewed all the way. Usually from the store they are. I'm going to put it on sideways, that, and I'm going to roll it over because I want the wire to come out of the back. And I can take my strippers and pinch that together like that. Okay? Now I can tighten that side up. See, right now the plug is upside down, but I don't really care about that. All I care about is getting this screw tight. There, that. Now I can take that and I can roll that up like that. Okay? Now I'm ready for the black side. Take that. If you can do one of these, you can do all of them. Not hard to do. Now, can you go in from this end? You can, but it's very difficult to do that because I always have a tendency to want to hit the edge, see? That's why I like to roll it in from the side. It always seems like there's just a little extra room there. And get that on there, and then I want to swivel that over, see? That's why I like to strip the wire an inch, and in fact this one I should have bent a little bit further over so I could grab it beyond the plug, but I can still get it. Okay. Wedge that over. See how it's coming out the back like that. You don't want it coming out at an angle like that over this little black nib here. There's a definite notch there, you'll see. And you notice how each one, the wire goes up and over the screw. So that's going the same direction as I'm tightening this screw. Okay, you don't want to do it the other way. I just kind of pull on this, get any slack out of it before I tighten it up. There. Okay. I can rearrange these wires like that. Okay. About ready to put that back in the hole. How are we going to get those wires in there? We got to push this in there. What I like to do is kind of go up and back down, and like an S. Now some people, they just grab all of it and they do it all in the same direction, but the ones that are up high on the plug, connected on the plug, you know, I'll go up high and then down, down, up, and then back down. Or I'll kick it the other way. And the ground wire, I'll go up, and over and back down. You see? Kind of like that. So when I push it into the wall, it's going to be like an accordion. And that way it'll all bend up in itself, you see? That. Guess they're all going up the same direction there, aren't they? That's fine. So it's kind of like an S, like a snake. You see that? See how it is? Up, down, and across. That way I can just spaghetti it into the wall. Okay, and I can just wedge it in there. I like to kind of hang on to this, and I'm just going to put the screw not in its exact hole, but in a different hole, just so I can make sure the wires are going all back in there right and all that. I don't want to just put it in the screw and ram it in, because if the wire is being held up anywhere, I could strip the screw right out of the plastic box. Okay, I just get this started a little bit. I don't put it in very far at first. I kind of look at this box. See, it's coming out at an angle. Now I got enough room to kind of push it back in there straight, so that when I screw it in, it goes nice and snug. Okay, now go ahead and tighten her down. And see, this is going to fit right in that little notch because I took those ears off. I like to just do this by hand. Takes a little longer than a battery operated drill, but that's okay. That way I can tell whether or not I'm hitting something, if I need to rearrange it a little bit. And see, I got a little bit of a slop there too, so I get that fairly snug. I can still move it around, so even if your box isn't perfectly straight up and down, you can still move this a little bit. I can move the bottom right over, top left over, the opposite, or line it up. I thought that box was pretty straight to begin with. I'm going to have the gap about the same on both sides left. Let's see what that looks like. Like I said, that's my pet peeve, is the boxes and the cover plates. There goes that train again. There's a straight on shot of that plug. See, it's going pretty straight up and down there. That's how you want it. Guess I might as well finish this off. Put the cover plate on now. Nothing's stopping me. Yeah, I was hitting that edge just a little bit. Looks good. Now if you're thinking what I'm thinking, you see that line there? That's just a shadow. Apparently, I'm looking at all the other plugs in the condo, and the plug all stick out just a little bit further than the cover. Now the other style plugs are flush with the cover. Now I guess that's just how they're supposed to be.